A major factor owing to One Piece's success is Oda's ability to write a story that documents how exaggerations of freedom and fate play out. Oda has written not just our main protagonist Luffy, but also several secondary characters such as Blackbeard that share the same trend of entailing the dichotomy between true and distorted freedom and its effects on the story as a whole. Time and time again, through various arcs, we as the audience are reminded of how the surface level concepts of dreams and destiny clash against each other, and how certain individuals such as Luffy often rebel against their destiny and pursue their dreams at liberty. This still holds true to this date, with the Wano arc finally elaborating on an aspect of the true nature of Luffy's dream, a pure desire to create a world where his friends can eat as much as they want. The theme of rebelling against destiny holds strongest for Luffy, a man who wants to be Pirate King for the straightforward purpose of being the freest man. No conquering, no pillaging, no killing, simply being free and enjoying his life with the ones he holds dear. Oda has catalogued this theme several times throughout the story, notably in the Sabaody arc, in his conversation with Rayleigh, and in Udon, where he even claims to Queen that he will decide when and how he dies. However, a new overarching topic has arisen since the post-time skip, and it is that Luffy is actually the chosen one. Several reasons attribute to this belief, and they are excellent motivators for the chosen one trope. For instance, since Fishman Island, Charlie's prophecy claimed that a man wearing a straw hat would destroy the island. The Sea Kings claimed that the two sovereigns would meet again, highly implying that there were two chosen ones in the past. Oden wanted to open Wano for a mythical figure named Joy Boy to appear, who so happens to be Luffy, according to Zunisha. And to top it off, Luffy not having the Gomu Gomu no fruit, but the human fruit model Nika instead. Now, while I do agree with the legitimacy of most of the criticisms that One Piece fans bring up regarding the situation, I have a few points to make as to why Luffy being the chosen one isn't necessarily a bad factor and could situationally even improve the story's narrative in certain routes. Keeping these factors in mind, let us discuss how the chosen one trope may have various long-term effects on the story and the implications of the chosen one trope on Luffy as a character. Before we begin, let us first examine what being a chosen one means. Being a chosen one means that a character, possessing the knowledge of it or not, is predetermined to fulfill a task or play a part in a much grander scheme. If it was not clear enough, it should be fairly obvious that Luffy being a chosen one would contradict the central theme of One Piece: freedom. Luffy as a character narratively represents the greatest embodiment of freedom and free will in the story, which makes it even more absurd because freedom and destiny are two opposing ideas that do not often coincide. They can, but only under certain controlled circumstances. Luffy's personality is such that he always rebels when he feels constricted or oppressed. He always fights for himself and others to be free. He cannot be locked away. He does not take the short route, and we all love him for his extremely unpredictable sense of personality that draws in people of all kinds. We've seen this countless times in the story, Luffy breaking log poses, always going the most dangerous routes that could often endanger his crewmates, taking numerous leaps of faith, literally and metaphorically. All these instances emphasize the essence of why Luffy is the greatest representation of unbridled freedom in the story. The Wano arc took a drastic turn with the ideas of freedom and destiny when Oda revealed that Luffy's devil fruit was special. Part of why Luffy was such a great character was his innate instinct to make his inefficient rubber devil fruit into a useful tool that helps him fight to the freest of his ability. Throughout pre-time skip, Luffy was mocked by several villains and even friends for his inadequacy as a rubber man. This was showcased the best in the Whole Cake Island arc. The entire narrative of one of the best fights in the series was that Luffy's devil fruit and its weaknesses were finally catching up to him, and that he had to focus on his battle intelligence and willpower more than ever to win the battle. The hard and long struggle to the point of life or death, eventually blossoming into a well-earned and meaningful victory, is what made us appreciate Luffy even more. Even though he was a rubber man, he won against a man who could manipulate sand, a literal lightning god, and even a man who could see into the future and was in every aspect stronger than Luffy. Seeing Luffy work for his victories against all odds and overcoming them is what made Luffy, Luffy. These stakes were then reduced when the Wano arc revealed that Luffy's devil fruit was a mythical Zoan fruit based on the sun god Nika that was previously mentioned by Who's Who. Factors such as his bloodline, having conquered his haki, and possessing the voice of all things, do not even come close to the fact that Luffy's Devil Fruit is inherently special, and that it provides a sort of unearned power to Luffy that is not credited to his own intelligence. The margin between these ideas is extremely large. A character having a predetermined and almost orchestrated journey adds a negative view to how we've normally viewed Luffy. A complete lack of explanation of his ability is what makes it even more worrisome. To some fans, this could ruin the stakes of Luffy's journey, as being the chosen one would potentially mean that his achievements are less impressive and that Luffy as a character would be less impressive as well. These are the base level concerns that people normally have with the chosen one trope. Let me share my thoughts on this topic and why I think Luffy being the chosen one isn't necessarily bad and could help reinforce the core themes of the story and Luffy as a character. I had previously mentioned that dreams and destiny can coincide, but under certain controlled circumstances. However, I opine that dreams and destiny do not always have to be two separate opposing ideals, but instead act as more of a minor tool of assistance that propels characters forward, and that every character has control of their lives. Although fans' criticism of One Piece being a chosen one story is fair, it makes zero sense to claim that it has been so from the beginning. Oda has on several occasions repeatedly emphasized the fact that everyone has an equal right to change the future, a theme that has been prevalent even since pre-timeskip. Essentially, regardless of prophecy, destiny, or even abilities that help you see what the future beholds, all individuals have the decision to either live by it or go against it. For example, Basil Hawkins, a man that lived by prophecy and probabilities, could never bring his predictions to reality and was often overpowered by individuals that adapted and evolved instead of relying on predeterminations. Don't get me wrong, destiny does matter to a certain extent, it's one of the core themes of One Piece. But freedom trumps this idea entirely, as it entails a character's own journey and own decisions, which eventually is the most important source of drive for characters in One Piece. If you're wondering how this ties into Luffy as a character, I'm quite confident that Oda will not follow the chosen one cliché entirely and makes it so Luffy just accepts being the chosen one of the One Piece universe. It is to be noted that the story wouldn't be bad if Luffy truly was the chosen one. It is how he reacts to this factor and moves on with his decisions forward that will strengthen Luffy's character and reinforce the themes of the story as a whole. I'm very aware of the fact that Luffy has a special devil fruit, but people need to realize that no predetermined factor can go against Luffy's ideals, because Luffy has always been a free-spirited individual. Even if he is the chosen one, Luffy would clearly go in an entirely different direction with that idea, a direction that ensures that he is not following a predetermined path, and a direction where he has full control of his decisions. That's how he's always been, a man that does the opposite of what people tell him. Asking him to stay in one spot in an area would only mean that he'd want to explore the rest. Luffy's uncanny and unpredictable nature makes him an enemy of the chosen one trope, as he has always overturned that idea on its head. All we have to do is wait and see how Oda plays this out. Knowing how strongly the themes of freedom would have been embedded into each character and plotline, I'm confident that a wonderful outcome would arise for all One Piece fans regarding this topic. Regardless of the narrative pointing out that Luffy may just be the chosen one, the story has set in stone the theme of people rebelling against their destinies and the main character's subconscious belief in the notion. In my opinion, these ideas would be squashed completely if an excess of predeterminism enters the story. But Oda is aware of this situation and is building a plotline where the idea of predeterminism is challenged strongly by the ones who want to live freely. All things being said, I trust in Oda and his ability to always subvert expectations, and that Oda may take a different spin on this topic. We have seen him introduce new elements throughout the story as the arcs pass. I would not mind Oda making drastic changes as long as he sticks to the core themes of the story and the dynamics between them. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more future One Piece content.